Gold didn't just hit $3,500 overnight. It sent a message, a loud and unmistakable signal to anyone watching closely. The monetary system we've known for decades is coming apart at the seams. And headlines are still with inflation, central bank tweaks, and political drama. But quietly under the radar, a much bigger game is playing out. And so what happens when the global monetary reset isn't announced with a bang, but slips through the back door? And the question is, why does this matter? Because it's already changing your life, whether you see it or not. You got rising prices, a weaker dollar, and geopolitical chess moves between US and China are just the symptoms. And at the core of all this is gold. And the scramble to control it is what we need to talk about. And so in this video here, we're going to talk about the quiet storm between the US and China, the strategic moves by Trump and his inner circle, and why physical gold is surging, why fiat currencies crumble. And all that, my friends, is something worth talking about. All right, so I want to take a quick minute to share my thoughts on a variety of subject matter in relation to this whole gold movement, Donald Trump running his mouth, and how China might respond on the other end. Because at the end of the day, whoever holds the most gold ultimately calls the shots. And right now, Donald Trump is already talking as if some type of victory is already in the bag. Other nations may think otherwise. So as always, if you guys want to hear more of these little quick takes, definitely hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this subject matter. And then if you find value, as always, take this, share it, so more people can get an alternative perspective as to what's going on. Because it's good to say by now, everything that you've learned, you didn't learn from watching the mainstream media. So sweet and simple, clearly, and there's a gold war, and it's not coming because it's already here. So, let's forget about the speeches and the summit declarations. The real story is playing out in vaults and in spreadsheets. And so the global gold war has already begun. And so for decades now, the U.S. ran the show because it controlled the gold. So after World War II, and after the Bretton Woods Conference, America clearly dictated terms precisely because at the time it held 2/3 of the world's gold reserves. So that golden leverage laid the foundation for the dollar's dominance. And so fast forward to now, while mainstream media was busy labeling gold obsolete or a barbarous relic, China quietly began building a fortress. And so there's estimates that China may hold anywhere between 30,000 metric tons of gold, which is far more than a paltry 2,300 they officially admit to. And so compare the U.S.'s claims to 8,100 tons, a figure that many doubt hasn't been hollowed out or leased to death. So who actually has the physical gold? And so whoever holds the gold in a Bretton Woods style gets to write the rules. And so once again, this isn't paranoia, because Trump himself recently echoed the old adage in one of his tweets where he said, "He who has the gold makes the rules." And so is that a coincidence? Hardly. It's clearly a signal, and it's not just rhetoric, it's policy, I believe. And that leads me to talk about Trump's golden signal. So why would he actually mention that in a tweet or one of his social posts unless he's even acknowledging the fact that we're in a reset? And so the signs to me are all there. Before assuming this post referenced the need for a Bretton Woods 2.0, and so that's not with assets such as gold. So what's really happening behind the curtain is a real question, because we're seeing massive physical gold flows back into the U.S., at least 2,000 tons or likely more. So that doesn't happen on a whim. So you got bullion banks that are long suspected of manipulating the market to suppress the gold price in favor of dollar strength appear to be reversing their course. So they're closing shorts and scrambling to buy physical reserves. And so the gold, I'd assume, compete with China's estimated holdings. And so to do that, Trump's team may be eyeing the 6,300 metric tons of foreign gold held at the New York Fed. So it's foreign owned, yes, but if things get bad enough, possession is 9/10 of the law. And if those nation states haven't repatriated their gold by now, it's probably good to say they may not be able to get it back. And so if the U.S. decides to nationalize that custodial gold, they could quickly double their stash. I don't think they won't. So when push comes to shove, trust disappears in the midst of a monetary reset. And at the end of the day, all that does is exposes the fiat collapse right now, and the fact that by gold surging, we're clearly reaching the end of that illusion that's been in play for over 50 years now. And so gold isn't rising short-term speculation, it's rising because confidence in fiat is dying. And so you got the dollar, the euro, the yen, they're all on borrowed time. And so the world is de-dollarizing and fast. And that's why we're seeing gold explode to all-time highs, and silver, despite resistance from deeply shorted bullion banks, is itching to follow suit. And so here's the brutal truth. The Western powers rigged the bullion market for years now to maintain the illusion of a strong dollar, but while they were busy playing with paper contracts, China and others were hoarding the real thing. So now that the illusion is breaking, physical gold is the only asset left standing without counterparty risk. So you got ETFs, don't forget about those, because they're banker instruments, which basically means paper claims, and they're not the real assets. So you won't find safety in the long run in those things. And I think more people are starting to realize that you actually need physical gold at this current moment. And so that's how you step outside of a collapsing system. Even Canadian politician Maxime Bernier recently sounded alarm when he said the monetary reset is happening before our eyes and that the real problem is unsustainable debt. And so clearly he's right. And so the bill for decades of excess finally coming due, and it's being paid in inflation, debasement, and a collapsing of trust. And so clearly I'm sure you realize that we're not speculating here. We're witnessing a slow motion earthquake, one that could reprice gold dramatically higher as we're witnessing, perhaps to even levels we haven't dared to imagine. And it might not happen in years. It might be mere months, God forbid, even weeks. So the question is, what should you do? Continue to stack, get your weight up, and in my humble opinion, if you have any extra fiat savings, you might want to move it out of the paper stuff into physical gold and silver before the price actually explodes beyond what they are now. And that means don't wait till next year. You might want to start doing that sometime right about now. Probably be good. But once again, the goal is to give you my perspective on what's really happening out here in the markets and with the monetary reset that we're in. But I don't want to give you all this information without also point you in the direction of some possible strategies and solutions. And it's my personal opinion that as we're witnessing all this, there's no better place to be than actually involved in the physical game yourself. And that means involved in the silver game directly with the Quicksilver Wealth Accelerator program, where it allows you to become a member of a program where you can automate your weight once a month so that you can dollar cost average into your stack and join the hundreds of individuals that's getting their weight up 1 ounce at a time so that they can protect from the uncertain times that's coming in the future. And by doing so, you get your own bullion store where you can actually buy from yourself and also point your family and friends to the same store so they can get their weight up, be compensated for your efforts, being your own distributor of gold and silver without the headache of actually having to handle inventory, marketing, and all those other things. So once again, if you're interested in actually getting involved in the silver game, then I encourage you to visit the link at mysilverteam.com, where it'll take you to that landing page to find out more information, as well as to join the community of like-minded individuals that realize the importance of getting their weight up. So once again, mysilverteam.com, links in the description. So once again, taking a minute, sharing my 2 cents. Curious to hear what you guys think. If you found value, hit that thumbs up, share it so more people can get an idea as to what's really going on, and I'll catch you guys later.